You keep saying you're coming. You keep saying, just give me time. You keep whispering, I'm almost ready. But your potential? It stopped believing you years ago. It stopped waiting at the window like some loyal dog, hoping you'd show up and finally fight. It slammed the door, burned the chair, shut off the light. You lied to it one too many times. You dressed up your cowardice like strategy. You made a home in delay and called it building. But let's be real. You've been bullshitting yourself for years. You've been posting about war but sleeping in peace. You've been writing goals with no blood in the ink, screaming about lions with the heart of a house cat. Your potential is sick of you. It watches you every morning in that mirror, sees the lies stitched into your eyes, sees the grave of broken promises behind your smile. It doesn't want your talk anymore. It wants your blood. Because your excuses, they're parasites. They don't sleep, they don't rest, they feast. Every time you said tomorrow, they grew stronger. Every time you picked comfort, they fed. They've been feeding on your soul, your confidence, your time, your years, and they're still hungry. You think you've got time? Time has you. It's not sitting in a vault waiting for your motivation to come back from vacation. It's already gone, burnt, dead. You think pain is your problem? No. Comfort is. Pain builds you. Comfort buries you. You're not struggling because life is hard. You're struggling because you've made weakness a lifestyle. Every time you hit snooze, you betrayed the future version of yourself. Every time you said, I'm not ready, your dreams flinched. You weren't born to be decent, you were born to be dangerous. But you traded that fire for followers. You handed your hunger over to cheap dopamine and 3-minute motivational clips. You wanted to be great, but not wounded. You wanted to be a savage, but only when it was sunny outside. You want the crown without the crucifixion? You want the fire without the ash? You don't get both. This ain't therapy. This is war. And war doesn't care how you feel. You've been living like you've got a second life in the bank. Like this version of you can fail and the next one will somehow succeed. But here's the truth. This is it. This is your last shot. This is your name, your face, your story. And right now, it's forgettable. You're not feared. You're not respected. You're just another one of them. Another dreamer who folded, another soldier who never showed up, another fire that died cold. But deep down, you know you're more than this. You know there's something buried underneath the fear, the shame, the delay, something screaming. That scream, that's your potential. And it's begging you to stop playing nice, begging you to stop making friends with your failures, begging you to burn everything that's been holding you back. This is not a game. This is not a phase. This is a fucking funeral. A funeral for the weak version of you. And the casket's open. But you've got to kill it. You've got to wake up with rage in your chest and discipline in your spine. You've got to train like it's Judgment Day every day. Because guess what? It is. Every sunrise is your verdict. Every breath is the jury watching. Every step is either redemption or relapse. You don't need a mentor, you need a mirror. You don't need motivation, you need a funeral pyre. This version of you, it's not going to evolve, it's going to rot unless you bury it. You keep looking for the next program, the next coach, the next perfect plan, but your potential's looking for one thing, execution. No more plans, no more someday, no more apologies. It's time. Time to burn the excuses, time to starve the parasites, time to make your potential scared of you again. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be a fucking problem. Because if you don't act now, if you don't move, if you don't bleed for it, you're gonna die with everything still locked inside you. And that's the real hell. Not failure, not pain, not sacrifice. But waking up one day and realizing your whole life was just a draft. So pick up the hammer, smash the mirror, kill the version of you that's been lying, and build the one that keeps his fucking word. Your potential is tired of your bullshit. Now prove to it you're worth the war. Stuck is a lie. Stuck is the mask cowards wear when they don't want to admit they're scared. You're not stuck, you've just been lying to yourself. You don't need a new path, you need a fucking backbone. Because it's not confusion and it's fear. Fear is the engine behind your maybe. Fear is the excuse hiding inside your tomorrow. Fear is the parasite crawling through your one day. You've been calling it burnout. You've been calling it being overwhelmed. You've been calling it exhaustion from too many responsibilities. Bullshit. You're not tired. You're terrified. Terrified that if you try again, it'll break you. terrified that this time it'll prove the voice was right, the voice that says you'll never be enough. So you sit, you scroll, you delay, and you tell yourself stories so you can sleep at night. Stories like, I'm figuring it out, or I just need clarity, or now's not the right time. But the truth is, now is the right time. It's just the first time you've had to face the war without a shield. No friends to gas you up, no backup plan to fall on, no coach to drag you through the process. This is just you. You and the demon you've been feeding since you quit on yourself. That demon has a leash around your neck. You think it's the world pulling you back. You think it's your job, your family, your bills, your trauma. It's not. It's you. You've been walking around like fear owns you, like the leash is welded to your spine. But what you don't realize is this. You're the one holding it. You chose this leash. You let it tighten. You convinced yourself it's safer to stay small than to rip that thing off and run straight into the fire. Because you know the second you go all in, the excuses die. The safety net vanishes. The world stops feeling sorry for you. And you're not ready for that kind of heat. But let me remind you of something. Staying stuck is a decision. Fear only grows in silence. And every second you hesitate, your future is slipping through your fucking fingers. You keep blaming the system. You keep blaming your parents. You keep blaming your childhood, your environment, your job, your boss, the algorithm, the economy. You want to know the real villain? Go stare into a mirror at 3 a.m. You'll meet the coward who abandoned himself. You'll see the ghost of a savage who could have set the world on fire but chose to blend in instead. The world isn't holding you back, and it doesn't even see you yet. You haven't stepped into the ring. You haven't burned for it. You've been hiding in potential like it's a luxury suite, talking about what you could do, like that makes you relevant. Potential means nothing if you never bleed for it. Fear will give you every reason to wait, but it won't give you a single reward. You've already wasted years handing your power to fear like it deserved it. You gave it the driver's seat. You let it steer your destiny. You sat in the back like a prisoner and then had the audacity to call yourself stuck? You're not stuck. You're just unwilling to do what it takes to be free. And freedom has a price. It costs blood. It costs pain. It costs lonely mornings and brutal nights. It costs silence, sacrifice, self-doubt, and relentless discipline. But most of all, it costs your fear. You have got to kill it every damn day, because fear doesn't vanish. It waits. It hides behind your daily routine. It speaks in the voice of your comfort. It pretends to be logic, strategy, caution, but it's all poison. And you keep drinking it like it's medicine. You keep thinking maybe it'll get easier if you just wait. But let me tell you, it never gets easier. You just get angrier at yourself for not acting sooner. Fear doesn't care how much potential you have. It doesn't care about your heart, your vision, your story. It only respects violence. You've got to turn on yourself with that fire. Burn the comfort, burn the lies, burn the leash. You've got to stand in front of that demon and say, I know what you are, and I'm not yours anymore. Because once you name it, once you face it, it loses power. You think fear makes you weak? No, avoiding it does. Real strength isn't found in avoidance. It's found in immersion. You don't conquer fear by thinking. You conquer it by moving. One savage step, one violent rep, one uncompromising choice after another. Not tomorrow, now. Because if you let fear dictate one more day, you'll blink and a decade will be gone. A decade of dreams you buried with polite hesitation. A decade of potential you murdered with what ifs. A decade of you dying without ever being born. So stop saying you're stuck. Stuck is an illusion. The door was never locked. The chains were never real. The leash was never tied. It was always you. And you know what that means? You don't need saving. You need to snap. You need to explode out of your own skin. You need to scare the fear with the violence of your decision. You need to wake up the dead part of your soul that forgot what it means to want something so bad it hurts. This isn't about hype. This is your fucking life. Act like it. Because fear isn't a problem. It's a test. And every second you bow to it, you fail. So stand up. Pick a fight with the shadow. Rip that leash off your neck and make fear afraid of you. Every time you skip the workout, every time you avoid the plan, every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you shake hands with your own killer. You think it's harmless. You think it's just a pass, a pause, a break. But that break is a blade. And every time you take it, you press it harder against your throat. You're not just procrastinating, you're participating in your own execution. The man you were supposed to be, he's bleeding out because you keep giving the coward a seat at the table. You feed him, you protect him, you listen when he says, rest, you've earned it. You actually think that voice is trying to help you? Let me tell you something. That voice is your fucking enemy. It sounds like logic. It sounds like kindness. It sounds like rest, recovery, balance. But it's not. It's poison dressed like peace. It's the same damn voice that said, skip today, it's just one session. The same voice that said, you've been through enough. The same voice that said, no one else would last this long, and you bought it. You believed the enemy because he whispered instead of screamed. But understand this, that whisper, it's a negotiation. And every time you negotiate with weakness, you lose part of yourself. Negotiation is how lions become lambs. You think champions are born? No, champions are cut from pain. They don't ask how they feel. They don't ask if they're motivated. They don't make deals with the voice in the dark. They silence it. They beat it down. They bury it beneath discipline. They make it afraid to speak. But you keep giving it airtime. You let it run your mornings, your nights, your fucking identity. You have no idea how far you've drifted from the savage you were born to be. Because every day you hand the wheel to a voice that wants you dead. The voice that says, take it easy, don't push today. You've earned a little comfort. Comfort? You haven't earned shit. You haven't bled enough. You haven't burned enough. You haven't gone far enough into hell to even see your limits. You're still negotiating with a fucking liar. And every time you do, you move further away from the man who was supposed to change this world. That man? He doesn't need sympathy. He needs savagery. He doesn't care about your anxiety, your fatigue, your comfort zone. He doesn't need approval or applause. He needs dominance. And dominance doesn't come through deals. It comes through war. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You don't need a new plan. You need revenge. Revenge on the version of you that let this voice survive. Because let's be real, you've been feeding your executioner with your own fucking hands. You keep giving your time to weakness. You keep giving your attention to temptation. You keep giving your identity to a version of you that should have died years ago. And now you're confused why the fire's gone. Now you're wondering why nothing hits anymore, why nothing sticks, why nothing ignites. I'll tell you why. Because the savage inside you is starving, and you keep feeding the fucking coward. You want to be respected? Then amputate everything that's not ruthless. You want to be feared? Then walk like every step is a warning shot. You want to win? Then stop sitting down at the table with your own destruction and calling it strategy. There's no plan. There's only pressure. You either break the voice or the voice breaks you. And here's the part no one wants to say. That voice will never go away. It will never stop, never sleep, never retreat. It will always be there, waiting for you to blink, to pause, to soften. So what do? You become someone it can't fucking negotiate with. You become non-negotiable. Unmovable, unbreakable, unapologetic. You build a mind so hard that fear shatters on contact. That you build a routine so savage that doubt doesn't even bother showing up. You walk into your own head with a fucking warhammer and crush everything that isn't discipline. You don't argue. You don't explain. You execute. Because the man you were supposed to be, he's still in there. He's not dead. He's just buried under years of compromise. And the only way you bring him back is if you kill the version of you that keeps shaking hands with the enemy. So make the call. No more deals, no more softness, no more saving seats at the table for the voice that's trying to end you. The next time it speaks, drown it in reps, bury it in sweat, break it with silence. You don't reason with weakness, you remove it. You don't question your mission, you complete it. You don't delay execution, you become the executioner. Now move, before the coward in you takes another breath. The pain didn't break you, the delay did, the lying did, the comfort did. Pain was never the problem. Pain was your only shot at salvation. But you turned your back on it. You looked pain in the face and said, not today. And every time you did, you killed a piece of yourself. The truth is, you didn't get broken because life was hard. You got broken because you refused to be hard enough for life. You wanted the rewards and not the rage. You wanted the finish line, not the fucking war. And now you're here, staring in the mirror, wondering how it all fell apart. But let's cut the shart. That mirror isn't just reflection, it's a courtroom. Every skipped rep, that's evidence. Every just this once, that's testimony. Every time you took the easy road and called it strategy, that's a fucking confession. You've been playing both sides of your life. begging for greatness while sleeping with weakness, crying over lost dreams while building altars to your distractions. You want to know why? You're still broken? Because you keep choosing the version of you that loves losing. Every morning you hit snooze, you cast a vote for the coward. Every soft decision is a handshake with the devil. Every shortcut is another nail in the coffin of who you could have been. And that coffin's getting heavy. You're carrying it through your days, dragging it behind your goals, lugging it into every relationship, every opportunity, every mirror. Your potential isn't waiting anymore. It's watching. Watching you rot. Watching you waste what could have been legendary, and you know it. You feel it, that sick twist in your stomach every time you avoid the truth. That's not fear, that's grief. Grief for the man you were supposed to become. Grief for the savage who never got his shot because you were too busy keeping the coward comfortable. And now you live with ghosts. The ghost of your hunger, the ghost of your greatness, the ghost of the man who used to believe he could change everything until you fed him lies for breakfast. You keep praying for peace, but peace only comes after war. You've got to fight for it. Fight through the weight of every wasted second. Fight through the guilt of your own betrayals. Fight through the shame of knowing you were the one who left yourself behind. You don't need closure. You need combustion. You don't need healing. You need hell. You need to light a fire so loud inside your chest it drowns out every excuse that ever lived in your lungs. You don't need time. You don't need a better plan. You don't need permission. You need to wake the fuck up and take ownership like your life depends on it, because it does. You want to stop being broken? Then stop protecting the version of you that keeps breaking. Stop dressing the wound and start digging out the infection. This isn't about fixing anymore. This is about killing. Killing the voice that says you're doing your best. Killing the version of you that celebrates effort without results. Killing the soft part of your brain that flinches every time life punches back. You don't need therapy right now, you need to be reborn through brutality. You need the reps you skipped. You need the days you avoided. You need the pain you ran from, because that's where the man you lost is hiding. He's not in the plan. He's not in the journal. He's in the pain. The pain you rejected because you thought you could bypass the storm and still deserve the crown. But that crown only fits one version of you. And he doesn't flinch. He doesn't delay. He doesn't make deals. He doesn't need hype. He is the fucking fire. But you buried him under soft habits and broken promises. You want to feel whole again? Then it's time to make pain your partners and not your punishment. Because what's been breaking you isn't the pain. It's the fact that you've been watching your own life rot in real time and pretending it's not your fault. It is. You are the reason you're still broken. But that's good news, because if you broke it, then you can rebuild it. You don't need a second chance. You need a death sentence for every version of you that didn't show up when it mattered. You need to stand in front of the mirror like it's Judgment Day and say, this ends today, because no one's coming. Not God, not luck, not motivation, just you and the wreckage you created. So pick up your name from the ashes, pick up your dignity from the dirt, pick up your fucking life and make it mean something. You are not broken because of what happened. You are broken because you stayed down when it did. Now stand the fuck up and make every rep, every step, every scream from this moment forward feel like revenge. You keep whispering promises in the mirror like that's going to resurrect the respect you once had. But here's the truth, and it's going to slap you like the silence of your own regret. Potential doesn't respect you anymore. It's not clapping for you. It's not waiting for you. It's not rooting for you like some loyal dog. It's pissed. It's foaming at the mouth because you didn't let it breathe. You caged it. You leashed it with excuses. You buried it in comfort. And now it's not waiting. It's burning. You either let it out or it burns you from the inside out. You think you've got time. You think you're still becoming, still building, still learning. You're not. You're stalling. You're hiding. You're hoping that the fire you suffocated still forgives you, but it doesn't. That voice inside, that ache, that gut-level pressure that never sleeps, that's your potential screaming through the cracks in your chest. You locked it up, hoping life would make space for it someday. You thought, I'll get there eventually. You thought pain was a sign you weren't ready. But pain was the sign, the invitation, the ignition, and you walked past it. You looked at the fire, you felt the heat, and you walked back to your couch, to your distractions, to to your second chances. But let me tell you something. Potential dies in men who wait. It dies in the ones who speak more than they do. It dies in the ones who treat their dreams like hobbies. It dies in the ones who apologize to the mirror instead of breaking it with action. You didn't outgrow your potential. You abandoned it, and now it's stalking you. In your dreams, in your breakdowns, in your dead-end routines, it's that whisper that makes your victories feel hollow. You post your little wins online, celebrate crumbs, but deep down you know you could have burned the whole forest down. You were built for fire, built for domination, built to suffer and emerge, not suffer and escape. But you locked the wildfire in a cage made of validation, doubt, and waiting for the right time. Now that fire, it doesn't light your way anymore. It consumes you. It keeps you up at night. It kills you. Or joy. It poisons every normal life you try to settle into. Because the truth is, potential doesn't sit quietly. It screams in silence. You hear it every time you lie to yourself, every time you delay, every time you break a promise to yourself. You hear it, don't you? That soundless roar, that rising panic, that internal war you can't explain to anyone. That's not depression, that's betrayed purpose. That's the ghost of the man you were supposed to become, punching through the walls you built around him. You don't need therapy, you need war. You need to kick that door open. Let the fire out. Let it burn everything that made you small, everything that made you weak, everything that kept you in a coma of comfort. This ain't about productivity. This ain't about discipline hacks. This ain't about routines. This is about resurrection. This is about reclaiming the throne inside you that you walked away from. Because potential, it doesn't sit still. It either erupts or it rots. And right now, yours is rotting. You smell it in your self-loathing. You feel it in your anxiety. You see it in your eyes. Every time the mirror looks back and doesn't flinch, you think you're haunted by the past? You're not. You're haunted by the unlived future, and it's louder than any failure you've ever survived. Because here's the savage truth. Failure hurts, but wasted potential mutilates. It's not a clean cut, it's a slow rot, a silent bleed, an invisible war that nobody sees but you. And it never ends, unless you finally go to war for it. You still think you've got more time? Then look around. Look at your life, your habits, your patterns. Is this the life your potential was supposed to build? Is this the legacy it screamed for when you were 12 years old and on fire with vision? No. You traded the throne for a couch. You traded the sword for a scroll of quotes. You traded war for waiting. And now your potential doesn't beg for you anymore. It dares you to step into the fire, dares you to let the cage break, dares you to feel the full burn of what you could be. Not for likes, not for applause, but to finally silence the scream in your soul. You think it's too late? Then you better make this the most violent comeback story ever written. Because if you're not gonna rise, then bury yourself right. Don't rot slowly, don't fade. Either burn alive or rise like fire. You think you're preparing for the war? You think it's still miles away like some far-off enemy creeping over the hill? Wake the hell up. You're already in it. Right now. Right here. This isn't training. This isn't rehearsal. This isn't some motivational warm-up to get you hyped for the real battle. This is the war. You're not waiting on some external demon to knock on your door and announce it's go time. You've already been bleeding. You've already been losing. And the sickest part is, you didn't even notice. You thought the sleepless nights were just stress. You thought the constant anxiety was just life. You thought the lack of energy, the fog, the silence inside your chest, that was just adulthood. No, that was the sound of your internal war breaking through the front gates. And guess who the enemy is? It's you. It's always been you. It's the lazy voice whispering, "We'll fix it tomorrow." It's the self-pity demon begging for one more excuse. It's the ghost of who you used to be, trying to drag you back down into the grave you crawled out of. This ain't a battlefield with flags and tanks. This is a prison riot inside your skull. And the enemy wears your face. You're in a death match every morning with the version of you that wants to die comfortable. You're in a daily fight with the you that wants to stay soft, silent, unseen. You keep thinking, the fight is coming. It's already here. No armor, no reinforcements, just your spine and your will. You're not going to be saved by motivation. You're not going to be rescued by books, courses, or healing. You're at war with the patterns that built the cage you live in. And the worst part? You built it. Brick by brick, excuse by excuse, lie by lie. You trained this weak version of yourself. You trained him every time you said, "I'll do it tomorrow." You trained him every time you hit snooze, every time you skipped the workout, avoided the hard conversation, numbed out with food, porn, lies, silence. You didn't just fall into this. You trained your own killer, and now he's in your mirror, armed with every regret you ever buried. So now what? Now you want to fight? Then understand this. You don't get to pick the battlefield anymore. That choice is gone. You already bled for too long. This isn't a prep zone. This is the front line. That voice inside, the one screaming, "Give up, take the easy road, just coast." That's not your friend. That's not your protector. That's your enemy in disguise. A voice dressed like comfort. A voice that sounds like you, but it's your executioner. You think you can compromise with it, make peace with it, let it have some control? That's like handing the knife to your own assassin and asking him to go easy. You've got two options: fight back with fire or die familiar. There is no plan C, no middle lane, no balance, not when you're rebuilding a man from the bones up. This is a savage war of identity, and identity only shifts through blood. You want a new you, then kill the old one, every single day. You want to win the internal war? Then stop preparing and start executing. Discipline ain't a strategy, it's a weapon. You don't need motivation, you need mental bullets, routine, repetition, rituals that make the weak version of you starve to death. Every time you do the hard thing, you're putting a sword in the gut of that old version of you. Every rep, every step, every early wake up, it's war. But don't romanticize this. This war is ugly. It will rip everything fake out of your life. It will take your comfort, your habits, your fragile sense of self, and burn it. It will leave you raw, exposed, and alive. Because until now, you weren't really living. You were sleepwalking through a war zone, acting like peace was coming. It's not. Peace isn't granted. It's earned through fire, through war, through savage daily battle, and that war never ends. Let that sink in. You don't win and walk away. You become the war. You become the battlefield. You become the fire. So stop asking when it gets easier. Stop looking for the finish line. Stop begging for relief. You're not a victim. You're a warrior in a permanent internal war. And the second you forget that, the second you get soft, the second you convince yourself you've made it, that weak version of you will come back, and this time he'll bury you. So get violent with your rituals, get brutal with your standards, get savage with the way you hunt your excuses, because the internal war isn't coming, it's here, and you're already bleeding. Time to fight like your life depends on it, because it does. They called it unhealthy. They called it too much. Good. You need too much right now because you're not trying to go back to normal. Normal is what burned you. Normal is what poisoned you. Normal is the grave you climbed out of. And they want you to lie back down in it and call it peace. But you know better now. You know the disease you've become. And there's only one cure left for a soul who is sick, obsessive.
Not balance, not moderation, not a fucking yoga retreat. Obsession, unapologetic, unrelenting, unforgiving. You think this is about goals? This isn't about goals anymore. This is about warfare. Spiritual, mental, emotional. This is about redemption. You either wake up possessed with fire or you die infected with weakness. Because you've got a parasite in you, a voice, a virus. It whispers in the dark. Take it easy. Don't go so hard. You deserve rest. You're healed now. Lies. Fucking lies. You're not healed. You're not safe. You're not done. You are still dangerous to yourself. And the only thing keeping that danger in check, the only force violent enough to hold it back, is your obsession. That's why you can't stop. That's why you can't slow down. That's why this fire in your chest isn't a flaw. It's a weapon. The parasite feeds on comfort. The parasite survives on softness. But when you're obsessed, when you're possessed, when you're operating at 4 a.m. like a maniac chasing ghosts through the silence, the parasite starves. Obsession is not optional for you. It's oxygen now, because you were never built for balance. Balance is for people who never lost everything.
Balance is for people who never woke up in a cold sweat regretting the last 10 years of their life. You did. You woke up to your own decay. You woke up choking on your own excuses. You saw what you became when you let go of the fire. So don't talk to me about being too intense. Don't talk to me about mental health like you're not already dying inside. The truth is brutal, but here it is. You're not mentally unstable because you're obsessed. You're obsessed because you finally saw the truth, and now you can't go back. There's no more room in your life for soft dreams. No more space for half steps. No more fucking tolerance for your old self, whispering from the corners of your mind like a ghost begging for one more chance to destroy you. Let me be real with you. You are the disease, and you are the cure. It's you versus you. And only one version of you walks out alive. So choose the fire. Choose the obsession. Choose the version of you that can't be reasoned with. The version that doesn't need permission, doesn't need praise, doesn't need peace. The one who breathes war. The one who burns down comfort every single morning just to feel alive. The one who trains when nobody's watching. The one who builds like a madman while everyone else is recovering from their feelings. You're not like them. You never were. You're the one dragging your broken body to the gym at 4:30 a.m. like it's a damn altar. You're the one writing your future in blood, sweat, and silence. You're the one standing in the mirror at night, staring into your own eyes, saying, I don't care what it costs. I'm never going back. You think this level of focus is madness? Good. Let them think you're insane, because what they call crazy, you call necessary. What they call obsession, you call redemption. Because obsession is what rebuilt you. Obsession is what resurrected you. And obsession is the only thing keeping that shadow version of you from crawling back in and dragging your life down into the pit again. You know what I'm talking about. That dark voice, it's not gone. It's waiting. And the second you lose your obsession, it's going to pull you back. That's why you don't get to rest yet. That's why you don't get to slow down. That's why you stay up nights feeding the fire. Because obsession is the only thing strong enough to keep you alive. Don't apologize for it. Don't hide it. Unleash it. Normal people don't rebuild from ashes. Obsessive motherfuckers do. Normal people compromise. Normal people settle. Normal people recover and go back to the same cycle. But you made a vow. You made a fucking lewd oath in the mirror. I'm never going back. And now that vow has a price. You want to rise, you want to lead, you want to build something eternal, then burn for it. Burn every ounce of weakness, burn every soft voice, burn every apology you've ever made for being too much. Because too much is exactly what it takes to outrun the old you. Too much is exactly what it takes to become something untouchable. Obsession isn't hurting you. It's the only thing that ever saved you. So stop explaining it. Stop trying to package it pretty. Stop softening your edge to make others feel okay about their own cowardice. You are the fire. Act like it. Let obsession consume every excuse. Let it take you over. Because if you don't feed the fire, the parasite wins. And you already know what happens when it wins. Never again. If you're waiting to feel ready, go ahead and die with the rest of them. Because you're not going to get some magical fucking feeling. You're not going to wake up one morning and suddenly feel worthy. Worthy of the life you keep dreaming about while wasting every second of it. That feeling doesn't come. That feeling was sold to you by cowards. Men who never bled, never risked, never built a goddamn thing. Men who needed the lie of readiness to sleep at night. Men who invented the myth so they could fail in peace. But not you. You don't get to fail in peace. You're at war. And at war, movement is the only prayer your potential answers. You think fire waits for the wind to calm down? You think the battlefield holds its breath until the soldier feels strong? FK, no. Fire burns. War explodes. Life attacks. And only cowards flinch. You keep waiting to feel ready? You'll rot in the same place that broke you. You'll die in the same room that watched you cry. You'll be buried next to men who never showed up for themselves.
Because they were waiting to feel right before they moved.
But this world doesn't reward the ready. It rewards the reckless. It rewards the man who charges into the storm anyway. It rewards the one who didn't wait for the nerves to settle because his purpose screamed louder than his fear. You want courage? Move. You want power? Move. You want to stop overthinking, doubting, drowning in your own hesitation? Then effing move. You're praying for clarity, and God's not answering because your feet aren't moving, because your hands are idle, because your mouth is full of what ifs, and your soul is choking on not yet. But here's the truth. Action is the only sermon the darkness respects. Discipline is the only chant the demons hear, and your body is the only proof your purpose needs. Don't wait to feel qualified. You're not. Don't wait to feel strong. You're not. Don't wait to feel fearless. That SAT doesn't exist. Fearless men don't win. The ones who move through hell while they're pissing their pants do. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to act anyway. You're supposed to swing even when you can't see the target. You're supposed to rise even when your knees are shaking. You're supposed to move because the clock doesn't give a damn about your feelings. You think discipline waits for you to feel like it? Discipline doesn't care about your emotions. Discipline doesn't care that your childhood was traumatic. Discipline doesn't care that your wife left, your job crashed, your self-worth shattered. Discipline only respects one thing: execution. And that's your problem. You're emotional, not executional. You want the world to feel your pain before you move. You want the world to hug you before it tests you. You want God to send a sign before you commit. Well, here's your sign, motherfucker. You're still alive. Move. You've had enough therapy. You've read enough books. You've
visualized enough futures. Now build the one that breaks you first, because that's the only one worth living. The one that demands blood before it gives you breath. The one that demands tears before it lets you speak. The one that demands death of the weak version of you before it shows you who the fuck you really are. You still think it's about confidence? Confidence is what cowards talk about when they're avoiding commitment. Confidence is what influencers preach when they're too scared to suffer. You don't need confidence, you need to bleed. You don't need to feel good, you need to go to war. You don't need to trust yourself, you need to bury the version of you that never did. You don't need readiness, you need rage, discipline, forward effing motion. Because readiness isn't real, but regret is. Regret is the black hole waiting for you to hesitate again. Regret is the mirror that doesn't lie at 2 a.m. Regret is the storm that comes when you didn't move and life moved on without you. And the worst kind of pain? Not failure, not loss, not humiliation. The worst kind of pain is knowing you could have won, but you froze. Knowing you could have been great, but you waited. Knowing you could have become a goddamn force of nature, but you chose to prepare instead of dominate. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop asking for signs, guarantees, permission. Get in the arena, break your own effing bones if you have to, but move. Because the enemy is moving, your old habits are moving, your weaknesses are moving, and you're standing still. You think the world's going to wait for you to believe in yourself? No, it'll bury you and keep moving. And your dream will starve in a corner and die of thirst while you're waiting to feel ready to give it a drink. Enough. Enough self-help, enough journaling, enough motivational fucking quotes. The time for understanding is over. The time for action is now. Because if you don't move today, you will rot tomorrow, and no one is coming to rescue a man who refused to rescue himself. So get up. Burn the hesitation, move with the fear, march through the fog, run toward the thing you've been avoiding, because that's where your life begins. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to move. You're supposed to move like your soul's on fire. You're supposed to move like there's no tomorrow, because there isn't. For the version of you that keeps waiting, there is no tomorrow. Only ashes or action. Choose. What you call depression is your soul screaming at you to wake the f up. You think it's chemical. You think it's your brain. No, it's your life. It's what you haven't done, what you keep postponing, what you refuse to face. That feeling in your chest, that weight pressing down on you every morning, it's not just sadness, it's spiritual starvation. You're not broken. You're bored. You're not chemically imbalanced. You're spiritually unchallenged. You're not meant to be numb. You're meant to be on fire. That dead look in your eyes, that's the price of a life lived without purpose. You scroll all day looking for a cure, but the cure isn't in your phone. It's in the thing you've been avoiding. It's in the pain you've been running from. It's in the decision you keep delaying. You say you're tired, but it's not your body that's tired. It's your soul that's starving. When a man doesn't live in alignment with his mission, he dies in slow motion.
And that's exactly what's happening to you. You're dying slowly. Every time you say tomorrow, every time you say maybe, every time you say, I'll start Monday. You don't need pills, you don't need a vacation, you don't need more time. You need to do the thing that scares the fuck out of you. The conversation, the disciple. Find the damn workout, the forgiveness, the phone call, the purpose. You want to feel alive again? Then you better go chase the thing that makes your heart pound like a war drum, the thing that burns in your gut, the thing you'd do if no one paid you, if no one applauded, if no one even noticed. That's why you're depressed, because you've been trying to live without it. You tried to sedate your fire, but you can't sedate fire. You either feed it or it eats you alive. This is not a motivational speech. This is a fucking wake-up call, because I've seen it. Men like you, warriors, turned into zombies in a routine. You wake up and die a little. You smile and lie a little. You sit in silence and rot a little. But here's the brutal truth. There's still something in you that hasn't quit yet. That's why you're listening. That's why you're still here. Because even in your darkest hour, there's a voice that whispers, there's more. There has to be more. That voice, that's you, the real you. The you that refuses to die quiet. The you that knows there's a war you were born to fight. The you that doesn't want comfort. It wants confrontation. This isn't depression. This is spiritual rebellion. Your soul is rioting against the prison you put it in, the cubicle, the fake friendships, the calendar filled with bullshit you don't believe in, the polite lies, the soft food, the dopamine poison, the dead routine. Your soul is screaming, get me the fuck out of here. And you feel guilty. You think you're ungrateful, but no, you're just waking up. You're waking up to the lie they sold you, that if you smile enough, if you make enough, if you pretend enough, you'll feel fulfilled. You won't, because you weren't born to pretend. You were born to hunt. You were born to bleed, to break, to rebuild, to rise. You were born for pain with P-18. Purpose, not comfort with chains. So don't call this depression anymore. Call it what it is, unlived potential. You are not broken. You're buried. You are not sad. You're caged. And the key is in your fucking hand. It's that workout you keep skipping, that business you never built, that apology you never gave, that silence you never sat in, that voice you've ignored for 10 damn years. You don't need another book. You don't need another podcast. You need to act. Because action is the medicine, purpose is the cure, and fear is the compass. Every second you don't move, the darkness grows louder, the mirror gets colder, the fire fades. You better move now, right now, before numbness becomes your new normal, before regret becomes your roommate, before you bury yourself in distraction so deep you forget you ever had a soul. Stand up right now, not because I said so, because your spirit is on fire and you've been pouring water on it for years. It's time to stop calling it a chemical problem when it's a character problem. You were never meant to be balanced. You were meant to be obsessed. So wake up, burn your comfort, follow the fear, and feed the fucking fire inside you. Because you're not depressed, you're unfulfilled, and only one thing can fix that, the mission you've been running from. You want glory? Give blood? You want change? Then bury comfort with your own hands. There's no goddamn shortcut through the fire. There's no back door to becoming. You want to be reborn? Then burn. You still think you can build a new life and keep your old skin? You still believe you can rise while clutching the same addictions that dragged you to hell? Wake the fuck up. You're not just changing your habits, you're killing your identity. You're severing the head of the weak version of yourself that's been eating your potential for years. And that's not a smooth transition. That's not a polite little rebrand. That's war. Every part of you that was built in comfort, it's going to scream when you rip it away. Weakness clings like a leech, brother. And when you tear it off, it will bleed. It will try to convince you it's part of you. It will whisper, this is who we are. We've always been like this. But that voice is your killer in disguise. You want to change your life? Then slaughter who you were, publicly, privately, painfully, every day. This isn't mindset work. This isn't journaling. This is spiritual surgery with a rusted blade. You don't fix your life by adding more. You fix your life by subtracting, cutting, bleeding, crawling through the agony of self-denial until you reach the bones of something real. You want peace? Then start by killing what's keeping you chaotic. And guess what? That means you. You'll have to kill the excuses you sleep next to. You'll have to kill the version of you that keeps taking one more day. You'll have to kill comfort and stand at the funeral alone. Sacrifice isn't some motivational slogan. It's not some cute little post with a lion behind it. It's the currency of transformation, and the tax is paid in suffering. You want to know why your life hasn't changed? Because you've been negotiating with weakness instead of slaughtering it. You've been hugging your demons instead of hanging them. You've been romanticizing your rock bottom instead of turning it into a goddamn grave. You can't just want it more. You have to hate who you were so violently that the old you becomes unrecognizable, so burnt that even your shadow looks different. There's no upgrade without exorcism. You don't become a savage by tweaking. You become a savage by sacrificing every soft piece of you. The daily comforts you keep around, they are the pillows on your own coffin. And the longer you sleep in them, the deeper the hole gets. And you see, this hell you're in, it only lets you out if you give it something. And that something is comfort, permanently. You have to become the kind of person who sacrifices first and breathes second. You have to kill the version of you that keeps needing permission. Because you are your own captor. You are your own jailer. And only your blood can buy the key. This is not poetry. This is not performance. This is what it takes to walk out of hell with your soul still alive. Sacrifice is the only way. Nothing else gets accepted at the gates. You think it's unfair? Good. It's supposed to be. That's the toll for resurrection. Because if you could keep your comfort and your glory at the same time, every coward would be a king. Every addict would be a warrior. Every broken man would rise. But they don't, because they're not willing to bleed. Not for the vision, not for the future, not for the goddamn freedom that's been clawing at their ribcage since the day they gave up. And you're not like them, right? Then prove it. Don't show me your dreams. Show me your scars. Don't tell me about your goals. Tell me what you're willing to sacrifice today, this hour, this minute, because the pain is coming either way. It's just a matter of who gets to hold the blade. You or your past. Stand up and choose. Choose pain on purpose. Choose to suffer for something that matters, because every day you don't, you suffer for nothing. Stop bargaining. Stop praying for ease. Pray for strength to rip the weakness out of your own chest and burn it. This is not a transformation. This is a funeral, and you're the executioner. So ask yourself one final time, what are you willing to kill to come back to life? You've risen before, then you ran. This time, you stay. How many times are you going to come back before you finally become who the hell you say you are? How many resets before you finally stop resetting? This ain't a damn comeback tour. This is the funeral of every scion of you that left when it got hard. This is where you finally stop running from the fire and learn how to live inside it. Because rebirth doesn't mean shit if you crawl back to weakness every time it starts to hurt. This time you don't just rise, you burn the bridge behind you. You torch the exit. You bury the old script so deep, not even your shadow can find it. You don't keep a plan B in your back pocket anymore. You don't flirt with the old life. You don't entertain the thought of disappearing again. You stay. You stay when it's boring. You stay when it's brutal. You stay when it's 3 a.m. and the silence is louder than your excuses. You stay when your body wants out, when your mind's playing tricks, when your soul starts whispering lies about comfort. Because this isn't about motivation anymore. This is about a blood contract. This is about deciding that your identity lives here now, in the fire, in the grind, in the discipline, in the repetition, in the refusal to quit. You don't get to escape anymore. You don't get to collapse when it gets real. You stay. The old you used to rise, scream for a few weeks, post some quotes, and vanish again. That version is dead. You killed it. Now you've got to bury it deeper than your fears. You say you've changed? Good. Then prove it in the moments no one sees. Prove it when the dopamine's gone. Prove it when you're crawling through another day that feels like a graveyard of your past failures. Prove it when everything in your body screams, run! And you respond, I don't run anymore. This ain't about proving them wrong. This is about proving yourself right. This is about staying the damn course when everything inside you is begging to go back. Stay in the fight, stay in the fire, stay in the mindset, stay in the pain. This time the pain isn't punishment, it's the price. This time the grind isn't a phase, it's the floor. You live on. This time there's no exit door, just a mirror and a monster staring back. And you finally ain't afraid to face it. You don't need applause, you don't need validation, you need war. You need routine so savage it scares the soft version of you. You need silence so loud you finally hear the truth. You need pain so constant it stops being pain and becomes identity. Burn the fallback, torch the comfort, destroy the reverse gear. You don't go back, you don't pause, you don't explain yourself to people who never stayed for their own lives. You're locked in, you're married to the mission, you're so committed, fear doesn't even knock anymore. It knows the door is welded shut. You've risen before, but this time you don't just rise. This time you stay. You want the truth, the cold, brutal, unforgiving truth. Here it is. Potential doesn't wait around forever. It's already walking towards someone else. Every second you hesitate, every minute you stall, you're not just standing still, you're falling behind, watching that throne that was meant for you get claimed by a ghost who refused to quit. Look in the mirror. That man staring back, he's fading. Your dream life, it's walking past you right now like you never existed. A shadow slipping through your fingers while you chase excuses dressed as reasons. The world isn't waiting for your permission. It's moving on without you. You think this is another chance? No. This is your final shot before the world forgets you were even in the fucking game. This moment right here, it's the edge, the cliff. The last fight for your name, your legacy, your soul. You're either all in or you're invisible. You've been whispering tomorrow like a prayer to quiet your shame. You've been negotiating with yourself, lying to the one voice that matters. That voice. It's screaming for war, for obsession, for fire, because potential doesn't.
It just sit there, it burns, it grows, it hunts, and if you don't answer, someone else will. This is no dress rehearsal. This is the ring, the cage, the battlefield where you fight the dead weight of your own inaction. You're not just competing with the world, you're battling the shadow that looks like you but wants to keep you small, quiet, and broken. Ask yourself, what's it worth to watch your dreams walk away? What's it worth to be the man who stood still while others ran the race you were born to win? Your potential is a wildfire inside, caged by your fears. You either rip that cage open or you let it burn you from the inside out. No more maybe, no more later, no more one day. It's now or never. You don't get a rewind. You don't get a second chance at the throne you were made to own. So what's it going to be? Will you rise up and claim your goddamn place? Or will you let your potential walk right past you, silent, cold, and done waiting? Because if you don't act today, you'll be replaced tomorrow. And that's the last thing you ever want to hear. This is your wake-up call, your final warning, your last chance. Move or get left behind. Either build the life you scream about or bury the lie that you ever wanted it. No more middle ground, no more hoping. This is the final crossroads where the man in the mirror stops judging and starts nodding back, because this time he's ready. Not just ready to talk, ready to fight, ready to bleed, ready to wake up every damn day and put in the pain, the isolation, the sacrifice it takes to earn what you want. You don't deserve results. You don't get a medal for wanting it. You earn results with every step that crushes your comfort, with every lonely hour when no one's watching but your own shadow, with every gut punch moment where your will screams louder than your excuses. Look in the mirror. Really look. And meet the man reborn from obsession, the fire-eyed warrior who's burned down every excuse, every lie, every cowardly reason for quitting. He's no longer a victim to yesterday's failures. He's the architect of his own resurrection. The lie you buried is the lie that kept you soft, safe, stuck. That lie whispered that pain wasn't worth it, that sacrifice was for others, that your dreams were optional. It's dead now, buried deep beneath the rubble of your new obsession. Because building this life means war every day. It means grinding when the world sleeps. It means a soul forged in the flames of relentless discipline. It means waking up at 3 a.m. to stare down the demons who said you couldn't. It means blood, sweat, tears, your entire damn existence dedicated to one thing, becoming unbreakable. This isn't a game anymore. It's survival, it's dominance, it's a war against the soft, the lazy, the satisfied. And you're no longer playing, you're building. Building a legacy so fierce, so raw, it silences every doubt that ever tried to cage you. So what's it going to be? Build or bury? The clock's ticking, the mirror's waiting, and the world, it's ready to forget the weak and remember the relentless. Make your choice. Make it savage. Make it yours.
Because if you don't act now, the lie you bury will be the only thing left standing. Build the life or bury the lie. No excuses, no mercy. You either rise now or die, remembered as the man who could have. Listen close, because this ain't motivation. This isn't some pep talk to make you feel good for 5 minutes before you slide back into your old ways. No, this is resurrection, a goddamn rebirth forged in pain, sharpened by discipline, baptized in fire. You've been sleeping on your own life, burying your greatness under excuses and lies. But that ends now, right here, right this second. No more hoping, no more hiding behind tomorrow or one day or I'm just not ready. Oh, bullshit. You've been ready since day one. The only thing holding you back is the coward you let live inside your head, the one that whispers sweet poison, not today, maybe next time. You don't deserve it. That voice is dead. It's finished. You're done pretending you're not dangerous. You are dangerous. You're a wildfire trapped in flesh and bone, and today you break the cage. This year, this day, this moment, it's the battlefield, the war zone where the man you want to be either rises or he dies unfulfilled, forgotten, a ghost haunting the ruins of his own potential. You see, your potential doesn't wait, it doesn't plead, it doesn't beg, it moves on. It hunts the warriors who choose to fight, who choose to bleed, who choose to own every damn second of this life. Look in the mirror, really see yourself. The man staring back is your enemy and your ally. That reflection has stood by while you wavered, stumbled, surrendered. But now he's ready to battle, to tear down every wall you built to hide behind weakness, to choke out every shadow voice that told you to quit. This is the moment where you become the warrior who never backs down, never compromises, never dies unfinished. You're fully armed. Your mind is a fortress. Your heart a drumbeat of relentless fury. Your soul ignited with a fire no darkness can snuff out. You are worthy of the potential that once begged you to wake up. You are that potential. You are the storm coming, the roar in the silence, the voice that shatters the chains. So rise. Rise now. Rise like your life depends on it, because it does. Rise like you've already lost everything, and this is your last desperate fight. Rise with the rage of every promise you broke, every dream you ignored, every time you told yourself, not yet. Rise with the fury of a man who knows his time is now or never.